And that was without even a single drop of rum.
This, my friend, is a pirate. Why don't you just focus on over the drink with it? It comes in pints.
I can get you one.
You've had all half already.
Good night and party on!
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are back for another Wednesday edition of After Work Beer. So if you will excuse me. All right. Cheers to you all who are hanging out so far or watching the replay. Appreciate you. We've already got Salmon Outdoors in the chat while grocery shopping. Appreciate you, brother. Glad to hear you made it back safe and sound, even if it was at an otherworldly hour in the morning. But yeah, kind of funny. I'm at a point now. I'm questioning if I should start using some of my Christmas graphics or Christmas countdowns. But then that requires some editing to make everything all fit together and make it all seamless, because I still barely know what I'm doing with this whole thing. I got to make all the clips. I gotta put the clips together, because if I try to like play a clip and then play the next one, there's always a weird gap. It comes back staring at me, like looking at the camera, like I have no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, all right, we've got some exciting news for myself and any Coheed and Cambria fans out there. We've got apparently some story about how if you have a bunch of old CDs laying around from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, they could be selling for over $10,000. We're going to dive into that one. I'm assuming they probably have to be in really good condition, because, I mean, even vinyl isn't selling for that much, and vinyl is way more trendy right now. And something that I just came across earlier today, there's some more drama surrounding Linkin Park and Emily Armstrong and her ties to Scientology, which we might get into as well. But yeah, I think we'll start. I'm going to go ahead and start with the Coheed thing, because that's what I had at the top of my thumbnail, and it is most exciting to me. Let's see if I can get rid of some of these ads before I share my screen here. Again, technology is typically not my friend, but I'm trying my best here. Nope, it's just going to make the text smaller, make the ads bigger. With what? Oh, Devin's just here to stir the pot. All right. Oh, Emily Armstrong, that thing. Yeah, I'm obsessed with how much of a train wreck the whole Linkin Park thing is, and yet their fans are still just telling everybody it's the greatest thing ever because she is their latest DEI hire that nobody is allowed to not like. Yeah, we talked about it a little bit on Monday. I listened through the new album on Friday when it came out, when I was at work. I listened to it one time and one time only, and it was bad. All this talk about Emily Armstrong isn't trying to be Chester Bennington. It's like, well, the way they edited the album in the studio certainly makes it sound like they're trying to make her sound like him in the studio. Live, she's even worse because her voice cracks and screeches and just doesn't have the intensity. Doesn't have the, yeah, it's not good. Anyways, we might get to that at the end. We'll see. But let's talk about Coheed and Cambria. Well, thank you. Yeah, the green screen helps. But some weeks, none of my stuff moves. None of my stuff moves. I've got, my microphone here on like a swivel arm so I can push it out of the way. But my camera, my ring lights, my computers, everything, nothing moves. But sometimes when I'm doing a live stream, whatever hat I'm wearing is totally fine. And then other times I'm doing a live stream and I'm getting ready to start and I can see if there's the slightest bit of green on the hat that I'm wearing, it's trying to be in the green screen and I got to quickly hop up and change my hat. But yeah, having the bar background, the green screen definitely helps. That way you guys aren't staring at my messy living room. So let's talk about Coheed. Coheed and Cambria have announced a new album, Vaxxus Volume 3, The Father of Make Believe. So you're going to notice a lot of, even goes through your glasses. Yeah. I don't know how people like Nerdrotic and some of these other guys do live streams with glasses on where you don't see any ring lights or anything. I don't know. I do my best. The hat helps. The hat definitely helps. But sometimes I get tired of wearing my contact lenses. But one of the light bulbs even out of the bar. Yeah. It's all fun and games. We're just having fun here. You're going to notice a pattern if you are familiar with my channel or if you're new to my channel. Thanks for being here. Make sure to like the stream as well as subscribe if you are not already. It's actually kind of funny. I noticed my stream on Monday. I had 3 other people on the panel for a total of 4 people, had a few people in the chat. The Monday live stream is sitting at 1 like. So every little bit of engagement really does help the channel. Those of you in the chat, if you happen to catch the replay, drop in a comment in the comments after the replay, making sure to like the stream, like the video. It does help. So yeah, so you will notice that I talk about Coheed and Cambria a lot. They are a big time favorite band of mine. I'm actually going to go here and change my background just ever so briefly. So behind me, you'll see a lot of Coheed and Cambria box sets. Pretty much everything up there except the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy over there on the left side of the screen is all Coheed and Cambria box sets. And there's even some more down here on the bookshelf parts that I've been buying and collecting for many, many years. And I'm going to buy this one too. So this is going to be the 3rd installment in their new Vaxxus series, which I have both of those as well. And I think I remember reading that they'd signed on to do 7 of these. So eventually I'm going to run out of room to store all of my Coheed and Cambria box sets. But I am definitely going to buy this one. To angle it at a weird angle. Yeah, so I have like the big ring light here right in front of me that's sort of like above me and angled down. So then my hat kind of helps. But then I need 2 on either side to light the green screen. And it's a lot of moving parts to make this look normal. But yeah, you can see some reflections in my glasses, Metal artist and lots of music. First time checking out your stream. Well, thank you for being here. I don't always talk about just music, but about 99% of my topics are about music, and I'm all over the place. I'm all over the map. Mondays at 5:00 Pacific Standard Time. I've got 2 of the guys that are in the chat here with me are usually on a panel with me where we just kind of drink beer and go on and rant about this and that and the other. Just went to give it a like, and I was the 1 like. Well, thanks, buddy. And we've got again another one of my usual Monday panel members, my alternate universe Bizarro dad, Roman of the Empire here, who is organizing records because let's just pull this up real quick. Roman has a problem, and you're gonna see what it is in just a moment. It's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. There we go. So today, along with a few others, I was tagged in a tweet from Roman of the Empire. Albums I bought this year, just in 2024, in order of purchase. And I'm not going to read off every title because it's a very long list, but I'm just going to very slowly scroll down so you guys can see that I think it is time for an intervention with Roman, because just the list of records he's bought in 1 year, and the year isn't even over yet. We've still got another, 6 weeks, something like that. 5-6 weeks left. The year is not over, This is probably more records than I own, and I started buying records about 10 years ago, but I'm a lot more selective. I like to go to secondhand stores. I pre-order stuff from bands that are putting out new stuff that I appreciate. So yeah, this is a lot. And we're still going. Still going. Ramones, the Oh Hellos. Oh, okay. Nick Cave, get out of here. Deftones, B-sides and rarities. Solid choice. Solid choice. And Simon and Garfunkel, Men at Work. Okay. Blues Brothers, briefcase full of blues. And there you have it, folks. There you have it. But did you organize them autobiographically? So, little sneak preview of what we're going to be talking about on Monday on Late to the Party News at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully with Roman of the Empire and Salmon Outdoors, as well as our other usual panel member, Blair to Blair. Yeah. Oh, you finally found it. I think that's the only one of the original. Actually, no. No, I think I do have that. So of like the OG original Alice in Chains albums, I think I have them all. Facelift Dirt, self-titled, Jar of Flies, and Sap EP. Yeah, I think I do already have all of those. I'm not sure if I have the self-titled or not. I'm gonna have to look into that. Anyways, let's click back on over to Coheed and talk about their new album announcement as well as their deluxe box set that I will be buying. Coheed and Cambria have announced their 11th album, The Father of Make Believe, due March 14th. It continues the narrative of the Amory Wars / Vaxxus universe, which is a sci-fi / comic book universe that singer-songwriter Claudio Sanchez has created, where he weaves the story into the music, but then also releases comic books and other novels and novellas that go along with the story. There's also a limited Vaxxus Act 3, The Father of Make-Believe box set that features the album on CD and digital formats, plus Blindside Sonny's fully wearable and functional helmet and neurodynamic display goggles. It'll feature the hardcover illustrated novella coffee table book, neurodynamic display goggles app for display customization, 11.5-inch by 35-inch bedroom poster, and a signed death certificate for Civ Traffinder. Find pre-orders here, which are going for about $165. Made a rad Alice in Chains 3-legged dog / glow in the dark metal art piece. I think it's in my shorts somewhere. Well, I will definitely have to check that out because that sounds awesome. Continuing on, the album features the band's screamy, riffy recent single Blindside Sonny, as well as the just released Searching for Tomorrow, which I'll pull up once we're done kind of unpacking what this box set is going to feature. The new song is more of a catchy, punchy Favor House Atlantic style nugget, which means the diehard fans are probably going to think it's kind of cheesy, but I guess we'll check it out and see. And it finds Coheed in fine form. It comes with an animated video. You can check it out below. Coheed currently have a few dates scheduled for 2025, including Tool's Destination Festival in the Dominican Republic, as well as their own SS Never Ender cruise, with Thursday, Ellis Dunes, Illuminati Hotties, Pool Kids, Zulu, Kawanashi, the Callous Cowboys, Meet Me at the Altar, Puddles Pity Party, and more. I don't know what's going on with all of that, but good evening to you, Jacob Ironside. Thanks for tuning in. Always good to see you, brother. So, let me see if I can watch on YouTube. Let's try that, and at least I can make it full screen. Skip. See that? Hold on. I always forget. There's like certain ways to share your screen, and if you don't share the whole window when you click over to another tab, it doesn't translate. So share audio. All right. So this is the latest song and music video from the album we were just talking about, from Coheed and Cambria, which I have not listened to yet. So let's check it out. And as always, full disclosure warning, I am going to pause throughout to react. Also, I'm going to get the copyright strike no matter what, but apparently YouTube likes it a little bit better if you stop it every once in a while to add some commentary. So we're going to check it out, but it's going to be interrupted. Just a heads up. So let's check out the newest song and video from Coheed from Vaxxus Volume 3, The Father of Make Believe, called Searching for Tomorrow.
Last chance to figure things out, or will you fail to answer when your body can't stay still? Hardly ever had a clue.
It's got a little bit of an anime feel to it so far, which isn't usually my cup of tea typically, but that's a music video. But then also that the helmet / goggles that we keep seeing, I think, are the things that's going to be featured in the box set, like an actual wearable, functional, whatever. And it says something about, there's an app that you can download. I'm really interested to see what all this is going to be when it finally comes out, because every time they do another box set for an album, they step it up another notch. Yeah, our anime guy here.
Searching for tomorrow, misunderstood. You headed straight into the brains.
So another like piece of trivia here that's actually kind of a disappointing thing. So as I mentioned earlier, singer songwriter of the band Claudio Sanchez has basically created this comic book sci-fi universe within the band's music, to where there are comic books and other resources out there to read the story. It was announced, man, I can't even remember how long ago now. I want to say almost 10 years ago. They announced at a Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, that they were going to be developing a movie for the anime, not anime. They're going to develop a movie for the Amory Wars story that is woven into the albums, and that somehow or other along the lines, Mark Wahlberg was going to be attached to either like direct or produce or something. Obviously, here we are many years later. Nothing has come of it. But I definitely think if they could get the funding and the backing, they could do something really cool with it. But I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'd be a little bit bummed if they went the anime route.
You dance between the true and false. To sound like something, but you learn that you lost it all. You finally learn that you can lose. Now that reality sank in, alone is always how you've been. Hardly ever had a clue. Your soul can shake, up to no good. Searching for tomorrow. Misunderstood. You headed straight into the flames. Left into it, you're out of your mind. It's so good to let go, so good to let go. Let them know it's by design.
I mean, come on, you're talking to the resident normie here. What do I know? I'm just a guy with a webcam and a microphone here. Oh man, this is like some David Cronenberg body horror stuff now. What is happening? What is going on? I think it just got weird.
Searching for tomorrow, misunderstood. You headed straight into the flames. Left into it, you're out of your mind. It's so good to let go, so good to let go. Let them know it's by design. Let them know it's by design. Let them know it's by design.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube
All
banning
right,
ads?
so there we have it. Get out of this real quick. Devin, that is a brand new song called Searching for Tomorrow from their album due out on March 14th. It's just like Masters of the Universe or heavy metal animation. Yeah, I'm digging it. Roman and family over there have bad taste in music, but that's okay. We still love them. He likes stuff like Nick Cave and Leonard Cohen and all that nonsense, but it's okay. We can disagree. Doom vibes. Yeah. So there's that. But let's look a little more into I'm going to pull up their website too, where it talks about the pre-order for said box set. I think it's going to basically say what the article said, but it has kind of some more pictures and whatnot, so you kind of get a better idea of what exactly you're getting for your $165. You see it, Roman? This is why I can't afford to buy more records, because I'm always buying Coheed and Cambria box sets, and then also buying the album on vinyl, which is separate. So here we go. This is their official website, Vaxxus Act 3, The Father of Make-Believe, limited edition box set pre-order. So there we see on the left now, Volume 1, the box was black. Volume 2 was sort of like a sky blue. And now we have sort of a crimson red. There's going to be the full color novella book, poster, CD, signed certificate, and then here the helmet / goggles that I guess apparently there's some sort of app or something that you can connect it to and do all sorts of weird stuff with. So who knows? But when this comes out and when this happens, I will definitely be doing an unboxing stream of that, just like I did with Volume 2, because I did not have a channel when Volume 3 came out. Act 3, The Father of Make-Believe, hardcover, illustrated 9x12 novella coffee table book exclusive, 96 pages. Blindside Sunny's wearable and functional helmet and neurodynamic display goggles, which we see up here in this graphic. Neurodynamic display bloggles app for display customization. So that's the part I'm particularly curious about. A bedroom poster, signed death certificate, collected in a 12x16 limited edition custom foil stamped box, as well as the CD and digital download. I think I did see that in the list, his very exhaustive list of vinyl that he had purchased. So, it's just sometimes people got those guilty pleasures. This will be shipped out March 14th, 2025. Oh, and here we even have the track listing. Yesterday's Lost, Goodbye Sunshine, Searching for Tomorrow, which we just heard. The Father of Make-Believe, Mary of Mercy, Blindside Sunny, which was the first single they released about a month or so ago. I don't know. I pulled that one up on a Wednesday live stream as well. Play the Poet, One Last Miracle, Corner My Confidence, Someone Who Can, the Continuum 1, Welcome to Forever, Mr. Nobody, Continuum 2, The Flood, the Continuum 3, Tethered Together, and the final track, number 14, the Continuum 4, So It Goes. And I'm guessing that is more or less the cover artwork there on the left. So there you have it. Roman, I'll make sure to order a copy for you as well, because I know how much you love this band. We gotta get you cultured. We gotta get you into some better music, you know. But let's see here. What else do we have to talk about today? All right, this one could be an interesting one. So, Roman, with your large collection of vinyl, do you still have a lot of old CDs laying around? Because this could interest you. I know I still have a bunch of CDs, but I did the thing where I had the big like CD booklet where I'd like put all the discs in there, and that would live in my truck or my car or whatever I was driving at the time, and then the cases would sit around in a box somewhere in a closet. And so to be able to possibly sell these now, I would have to go through and put them all back in the cases and hope that they're not all scratched and worn out or possibly melted or whatever. But we have an article here. Let me scroll back up here from iHeartRadio that is suggesting your old CDs from the 80s and 90s could possibly be worth over $10,000. That's something. Long before you could find all the music you could ever need on the iHeartRadio app. Get out of here, iHeartRadio. Nobody uses iHeartRadio. We all use Spotify. That's not much better, but at least you can. It's just like having full access to the iTunes library for a small fee. Before you could find all the music you ever needed on streaming, we'll just say that, there were CDs. Music lovers would add to their collection anytime their favorite bands released an album. However, once songs went digital, CDs were either packed up and stored away or tossed in the trash. If you went with the first route and still have a bunch of CDs in boxes in your basement, attic, or storage unit, you might have made a very wise decision. That's because certain discs that came out in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s now have a lot of value. MyLondon.news identified a few of the ones that you really want to find. First up, Bruce Springsteen. Oh, Bruce Springsteen. I can't. That's the one. That's the first one. First up, Bruce Springsteen, The Future of Rock and Roll. No, I don't accept that at all. Anyways, I was trying to find a funny clip or something to pull up, but I don't really have one that actually, you know what? Maybe I do. Let's see. This is what I have to say about Bruce Springsteen's The Future of Rock and Roll being one of the first ones up that they're saying could be worth thousands of dollars.
First, the rigid security.
I hate Bruce Springsteen so much. I hate him so much. First of all, I don't think he's talented. That's just first and foremost, right off the bat. Just you play a song and I'm going to be like, wow, this is awful. Even more so as he's gotten older. He is not one of those artists that should continue touring. Like, he needs to just take his money and retire and go away. But even more so, I'm not going to get into the other stuff. We don't need to get into that. Doesn't matter. Bruce Springsteen sucks. So first up is Bruce Springsteen's The Future of Rock and Roll, which the boss, I hate that they call him that so much, put out in 1988 as a promo-only double disc in Japan. Because the 16-track set is so hard to find these days, it's worth $1,400. Next up, okay, this is going to be stupid. Is this all just like international release stuff where it's like, oh, if you happen to get this like one and only rare thing? Like, I thought it was just sort of like, hey, if you have old CDs laying around, people are buying them. But this is like, oh, okay, you got to have something like really, really rare from before the days of eBay and stuff. Or maybe you paid a bunch of money on eBay and now you're trying to recoup your cost. I don't know. Let's find out. Another Japan-only collection to look out for is Prince's My Name Was Prince in 1993. The purple one released only 50 copies of it to promote the album, the hit / B-side. If you're lucky enough to find it, it's worth over 6,000. You might be very surprised about the next CD to be on the lookout for. It's I don't even want to say this out loud. I think I'm going to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Paris Hilton's debut album? Hold on. Paris Hilton's debut album suggests that she made more than one music album. Did anyone else know this? Do I even need I don't even want to read this paragraph because I'm about to be really angry. While the socialite's voice is rather remarkable. Who wrote this? Who wrote this article? Okay, let's just skip to the punchline. It's going for $10,000. It turns out that famed artist Banksy put about 500 fake copies of the album in stores in 2006, replacing Paris' CD with one featuring Danger Mouse remixes. What in the world? We're gonna skip that one because I don't even want to. No, just nope. We're not talking about that. That is so annoying. That is so incredibly annoying. Yeah, it's not good. And the guy who apparently, built his career off of like appealing to the middle America, working class, blue collar, whatever, decided it was perfectly fine to sell concert tickets for $2,000. And don't tell me that somebody of the status of Bruce Springsteen can't name his own ticket prices, because he's been around long enough that he's got that much power. And he's like, oh, well, if the scalpers can make $2,000, why don't we just set the price and then the boys on stage make that much money? It's like, yeah, well, your show is going to be just a whole bunch of proctologists and dentists, and I'm sure it's going to be super fun. Sorry, apparently I hair or something on my glasses. There have been dozens of versions of Now That's What I Call Music. Oh, man. You guys remember those? You remember those infomercials or just commercials in general? The Now That's What I Call Music, released over the years, but only one of them sells for up to $500. The UK release of Now That's What I Call Music 4, the first one ever put on CD. Only 500 copies were originally pressed, but a reissue hit shelves in 2019. So don't get too excited if you find one, man. So sometimes when I come across articles where like the headline seems interesting and I think, oh, cool, I'll talk about that on the live stream. I don't read it ahead of time. You're getting my real live reaction here of me reading through this as we're going through it. And this is not going the way I thought it was going to. So, I mean, I guess you're just going to see me get really worked up and rant a whole lot about how stupid this is. But this is not the way I thought this article was going to go. But let's continue. Oh, okay. Here we go. This might be something. In 1993, Nirvana released In Utero, and the next year they put out a single called Penny Royalty, an alternate version of the song off In Utero. It came out in April, but that same month, singer Kurt Cobain died, and the CD was recalled. However, a few copies are still out there and worth about $2,500. Roman, you got one of those? What about you, Lady Marine? The Penny Royalty single that came out right before Kurt Cobain died. If any of you out there have one of those, you could sell it for $2,500 because they apparently recall. Why would you recall the guy's music because he died? Like, wouldn't you want to put that out there and be like, hey, this guy's no longer around. Enjoy the music that he made while he was here. And there she is, just in time to downvote and unsubscribe from the channel, like always. How you doing, Steph? Good to see you. Sorry your boss sucks. Big fan of Proctor. Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure Bruce Springsteen's a big fan of those. He probably goes in. He probably has one tour with him. Got to get checked out every day just in case. Let's continue down the list and see how pissed off. Yep, that's pretty much where we're going. You had one? You need to track that person down. Like, you need to find I don't know, what was Liam Neeson's character name in Taken? He's like, I will find you and I will, the whole thing. So Well, he's not only Canadian, but he's a youngin. He's just a youngster. And howdy to you, Real Steven TV. How you doing tonight, brother? Yeah, Devin's just a little youngster. I think iTunes might actually be older than him. There have been plenty of Michael Jackson CDs over the years, but one you may not have heard of is for the single Smile in 1997. It was put out only in Australia, but was later canceled and never pressed again. Just a few of the discs remain, and they sell for nearly $2,000. You had a walk? Well, I mean, hopefully. Okay, so you know the relationship between a cassette tape and a pencil. Is that what we're getting at here? That's an age test right there. But that to you, I think that's just more of something that you still had around. Okay, so that rare Michael Jackson single from Australia only is going for around 2,000. One other valuable set is David Bowie's Sound and Vision. Came out in 1989. Only 350 copies of this compilation were released, complete with 49 tracks, a video disc, a 72-page booklet, and a basswood and birch box. A few more copies dropped in 1990. They can go for $70 to $400. All right, hold on a second. You're telling me this thing that only made 350 copies, that comes with 49 tracks, a video disc, 72-page book, and a basswood and birch box for the whole thing, $70 to $400. That doesn't add up. Anyways, man, this article is really disappointing. I think we're gonna have to talk about Linkin Park next because I'm running out of stuff here already. So, sorry to get your guys' hopes up. I thought this was basically like if you have old CDs laying around, they could be worth money, but apparently it's only if you were buying like Japan only and Australia only releases. So, sorry about that. Big bummer. See what else I can come up with that's somewhat entertaining and interesting. I already made fun of Roman with the intervention meme. Talked about all the records he bought. I would try to go back through the list to see if Nickelback was in the list of records Roman bought, but it's not alphabetical, and I'm going cross-eyed looking at it because the list is too long, so I can't even begin to find. Found two guys that do covers that are insanely good. Anthony Vincent can do the great Chris Cornell. Oh, interesting. That is definitely a difficult voice to duplicate, to replicate. A great talent that was gone far too soon. I'm all out of tinfoil, so I don't have time to get into my tinfoil hat theory as to how I think Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington actually passed away. But I don't know, maybe one week I'll do my tinfoil hat theory stream and we'll dig into all this stuff that'll totally get my channel shadow banned. I love a good conspiracy theory. All right, so let's see if I can find. So, I came across this video when I was at work. I should have been working, but easily distracted. Came across this video from Rockfeed about some more interesting details about Emily Armstrong and her ties to Scientology, which everyone has been talking about since the day she was announced as the new co-vocalist of Linkin Park. But the part that really kind of irked people was the fact that she was friends with Danny Masterson, and she went to one of his hearings or one of his trials as a supporter of him, and everyone came out and they're like, are we not going to address this? Are we not going to talk about it? And she kind of gave like a non-apology, like, oh, I went to one hearing, this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. But it's like she didn't denounce the fact that she is a Scientologist, which is a long-running history of being known for all sorts of different abuse and horrible conditions of people that they use all of their money and influence to stifle and silence and if somebody comes knocking on my door right now while I'm talking about this, these are my last known whereabouts. I am not suicidal. And I just said, you're not supposed to say that word on YouTube. That's how you get shadow banned. But yeah, there's some dark stuff that surrounds that particular organization. To be fair, there's no Nickelback. Is it me? It's always you, Roman. It's always you. David Carradine got taken out by Black Ninjas. What? Mac Glocky. Okay. All right. Yeah, so Emily Armstrong gave kind of her apology and I supported him at an early hearing, and then when the details came out, this and that and the other, blah blah blah. But what I find interesting was in a little bit of my research and my findings is that she went to one of Danny Masterson's hearings in support of him in more recent years than she admitted. And Danny Masterson was convicted and sentenced the year that she went to one of his hearings. And again, like, nobody's talking about it. We just sort of, we'll sweep it under the rug, whatever. Yay, new Lincoln Park. Yay, it's a female. Yay, everything's great. You're not allowed to not like her. It's like, well, given Chester Bennington's life and story of abuse and different things that he went through and mental health and everything, all things that Scientology doesn't believe in. They don't believe in any kind of therapy or getting help or anything like that. They just give more money to the organization and you will be happy. So the more they ignore some of this stuff, the more I think they actually are kind of pissing on Chester's legacy. But since my channel's probably already been shadow banned after all the words I've just said in the last 5 minutes, let's dive into this. Yep. Just don't know how to keep my mouth shut sometimes. Gets me in trouble a lot. Oh, well. Alrighty. I think this is the same article that Rockfeed was reading from, so we'll go ahead and just go with this. David Corday thought when he died. Yeah. Anyways, I know Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington were good, close friends. Chester Bennington actually sang a cover, probably a much better cover of the Leonard Cohen song Hallelujah at Chris Cornell's funeral. And both apparently were involved in an organization who was getting ready to expose a lot of like trafficking rings. Again, I'm trying to like use the safe words that YouTube allows you to use. But yeah, I think like Chris and Chester were involved in some kind of organization where they're getting ready to expose some really bad people. And within very short proximity, a very short amount of time of each other, they both, we know the story. I don't believe it, but that's a different story for a different time. Nonetheless, two very, very great talents that were lost much, much too soon. So, new Linkin Park singer Secret Life has, quote, hardcore Scientologist as hardcore Scientologist revealed. I don't think it really needed to be revealed. We already kind of knew that she grew up in it. She hasn't really denounced it, but she hasn't really confirmed that she's part of it. She was friends with Danny Masterson, and my understanding is that people that were part of this organization kind of knew what he was doing and were actually protecting him and covering it up for him and everything, and spending all their money and all their power and resources to protect him in court. He is now currently serving 30 years in prison for what he was convicted of. And now she's the new co-vocalist of Linkin Park, who is said to be friends with him. Let's unpack this, shall we? The Daily Beast obtained internal records from Scientology, the FBI, and former Scientologists that shed light on Armstrong and her family's ties to the controversial organization. I feel like I should stop saying that word because any minute now people are going to knock on my door and everyone that's in the chat is going to be like, John who? We don't know anyone named John. Never existed. Rock band Linkin Park's new singer grew up in Scientology dorms for its most zealous followers' children before becoming a hardcore church member, the Daily Beast has learned. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. Never knew a guy named John. Nope. Louis Armstrong was unveiled as Linkin Park's new frontwoman in September after lead singer Chester Bennington tragically died in 2017. Their first album featuring Armstrong was released this past Friday. Armstrong's history as a Scientologist is already proved controversial. Bennington's son Jamie slammed Linkin Park for embracing a Scientologist when she was announced, writing on Instagram that the band erased his father's life and legacy in real time. So those are all the Instagram stories. So more information has come out about this. I think this is Chester's first, like oldest son, who he may actually be a little bit unhinged and maybe kind of have some mental issues. Some have said that different people in their camp have had to have restraining orders on him. So I don't really know a lot of the true details of where he's at with that. But now documents obtained by the Daily Beast reveal how Armstrong grew up in the Cadet Org, a church-run order for children of Sea Org members, and how her mother, Gail, has been deeply involved in Scientology, working in its intelligence unit and attacking one of its highest profile whistleblowers. So yeah, this is one of those organizations where when you leave, it's not like if you go to like a Christian church or like a Catholic or what, and you're just sort of like, I'm just gonna not go here anymore. And people are like, that's cool. It's like, oh no, when you leave, it's like, it's a big deal. It's bad. There's a lot of really dark stuff out there with this. That's why it's basically a cult. Gail Armstrong, so Emily's mother, Gail Armstrong wrote speeches for Scientology leaders and edited an in-house publication that claimed Osama bin Laden was duped into committing the 9/11 attacks by unknown psychiatric methods, and which blamed the Columbine High School massacre on antidepressants. Well, this is really going sideways fast. Her daughter was also accused of being part of a group that attempted to intimidate a victim of Scientologist child star turned big hard R word, Danny Masterson. The release of a new album and plans for a 50-date world tour by one of the top-selling bands of all time make the 38-year-old one of the controversial religion's biggest stars, when its traditional roster of big names, including John Travolta and Tom Cruise, have long been unchanged. I will say, it's interesting that a lot of those guys managed to keep their name out of a lot of the drama and the headlines and stuff when it comes to the weird stuff that these people do. Except for when John Travolta's son died of something that was very preventable, but it's neither here nor there. I'm not saying I don't wish that on anyone. Obviously, it's terrible no matter what, but it was preventable. The endorsements of headline talent like John Travolta and Cruise, who joined Scientology when they were emerging superstars, brought glitz and appeal to the organization that no amount of money could buy. Let's skip ahead. This is a lot of just blah. Great deal of positive media. Now dealing with just deeply enmeshed with families. By the time Armstrong was of elementary school age in the early 1990s, Armstrong lived in a Los Angeles dormitory for the Cadet Org, the children of the Sea Org, Scientologists' innermost corps of devoted staff. Former members told the Beast. Her time in the Cadet Org is partially recounted in The Bad Cadet, a memoir by ex-Scientologist Catherine Spallino, who was raised in the church at the same time as Armstrong. Her memoir uses pseudonyms for the people she grew up with, but multiple former Scientologists who were raised at the same facilities and are aware of the details of the book told the Daily Beast that Ava in the book is Emily Armstrong. In the elementary school years, she and Armstrong were among the children housed in a 4-story apartment complex called the Anthony Building. Other former Scientologists have identified the building as a church property. Children slept in 3-tiered bunk beds, and, quote, cockroaches were everywhere. So those are fun conditions for children, right? That's great. Skip a bit here. There was no proper bedding. None of us had a complete sheet set, blanket, or pillow. slept without a pillow for many months. And they're doing this to children. Here she wrote, children were trained in Scientology's paranoid ways, being made to write knowledge reports about one another that described bad behavior. They were also sent frequently to the L. Ron Hubbard Life exhibition, the peculiar Los Angeles museum dedicated to its founder. So there's that. Skip. Several former church members told the Los Angeles Times in 1990 that youngsters have gone for days without a visit from their parents, who believe that their work for the group is transcendent. This article is a lot longer than I thought it was. The rock feed managed to really kind of cut through the fluff. The removal of children from their parents, the requirements of the kids intensively study their leaders' teaching at the expense of normal educational material, and their extreme regulation in often neglectful and abusive environments is regrettably typical of many cults. Home of the Pack Ranch. I think we can skip that. I just want to get more to kind of just like the meat and potatoes of how this all relates back to Emily Armstrong and how she just really hasn't denounced her ties to this. And there's a lot of stuff in here. It's like she grew up in it. Okay, fine. Your parents were in it. You were part of it. But it's like, at any point, have you tried to leave? Have you tried to, get away? Other people have done it. Like, it's not easy, but there we go. There's no indication that Armstrong joined the Sea Org, but her mother, Gail, has held several prominent posts in the Office of Special Affairs, their most powerful arm. It was described by former Scientologist and actor Carmen, last name I cannot pronounce, in 2015, as a sophisticated intelligence agency and a complex system dedicated to ruining the lives of those it sees as enemies in any way possible. So there's Emily Armstrong's mom. She's definitely got brainwashed eyes. There's nothing going on there. There's nothing upstairs there. Former colleague. Okay, that's interesting. More weird documents. We work on the third dynamic, a new era. The erosion of right and wrong. There's Gail Armstrong again, Emily's mom. Yep, I think this is suddenly going into different territory. No, here we go. Okay, let's just skip here. So this is where we start talking about Danny Masterson again. Alleged intimidation of Scientologist victim. While Emily Armstrong's mother was a high-profile part of the church, Emily herself was relatively low-key while pursuing a rock career as frontwoman of Dead Sarah. In September of 2020, she publicly supported that 70s show star Danny Masterson, Scientologist, at his trial, where he was accused of doing really, really horrible, unspeakable things to 3 women. He was convicted, 2 out of the 3 women, and sentenced to 30 years in prison. The third case ended in a hung jury. Chrissy Carnell Bixler, the former church member whose case ended in the hung jury. So I believe that is the wife of the singer for the band, the Mars Volta, who he had some very choice words for Linkin Park announcing Emily as their new singer, because he seems to think that Emily was one of the ones that was intimidating the other Jane Does that were coming forward trying to tell their story. Former member whose case ended in a hung jury alleged on the day after Armstrong was unveiled as the Linkin Park singer that she came to the trial as a, quote, hardcore Scientologist and as part of a group intended to intimidate one of the 2 unnamed victims. Her husband, Mars Volta singer and ex-Scientologist Cedric Bixler Zavala, echoed the allegations. Later that day, after a hail of media coverage about the claims, Armstrong said in an Instagram story that she misjudged Masterson. should not have attended the hearing and stopped speaking to him afterwards. But she continued to follow him on social media until people made a big stink about it back in September of this year. I do not condone abuse or violence. They empathize with the victims. Forced apology, forced apology, forced apology. She did not mention Scientology or address the allegation that she attended the hearing as part of a Scientology-related campaign. The church said it was not a party to Masterson's criminal trial and that those who attended were exercising their right to be part of a public hearing, not as part of any organized effort. Scientology also called Bixler's claim unhinged and said they are part of an attempted money grab in a civil suit. Carnell Bixler, her husband, and Masterson's 2 alleged victims are suing him and the church for damages. She claims to have faced retaliation for speaking out against him. Scientology strenuously denies the claims and says the Bixlers have never produced a shred of evidence to support their campaign of hate against the church. The Bixlers did not respond to requests for comment. It is unclear if Emily Armstrong remains a member of the church. Linkin Park's management and record label both failed to respond to requests for comment on whether Armstrong remains part of the organization and on her past in the church. The church declined to state whether she is a member, citing privacy concerns. So this goes on, continues to kind of ramble on a bit. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. That got a lot more in depth and a lot darker than I thought it was going to. I feel like I probably kind of lost a lot of people. It looks like there's about 7 people watching. Anyone who's still hanging out, remember to make sure to like the stream. Every little bit really does help. If you're new and you're still here watching, give a subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. But yeah, that was a lot. Let's see if I got one more quick short story here to end on a bit of a high note, because that got weird. That got really weird really fast, right? Korn, Metallica, and, funny enough, Linkin Park are announced as performers at Sonic Temple 2025. Oh, that is some really small font. Let's see if we can fix that. I might be wearing glasses, but my eyes are still terrible. Almost there. There we go. The only way I can read articles. I gotta, yeah. Glasses only do so much. Sonic Temple Art and Music Festival was unveiled. Its full 2025 lineup, headlined by Metallica on 2 nights, Linkin Park and Korn. The annual Hard Rock and Metal Fest is set for May 8th through the 11th at the historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. So let's see if we can find the list. Just kind of cut to the short version here. Thursday, May 8th will be headlined by Korn, with performances by Bad Omens, 3 Days Grace, now reunited with original vocalist Adam Gontier, Killswitch Engage, Ginger, Ministry, and more. On Friday, May 9th, the first of 2 Metallica headlining slots will take place as the Metal Legends bring their 2-show, no-repeat weekend format to Sonic Temple. Friday also features sets by Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper, Mastodon, Cannibal Corpse, Deaf Heaven, Suicidal Tendencies, Hatebreed, and a reunited Acid Bath, among other acts. Saturday, May 10th, will be headlined by Linkin Park, featuring... Okay, so this is already annoying, given everything we just read. It has to point out... Let me just highlight this here. It even has to point out in parentheses, will be headlined by Linkin Park featuring Emily Armstrong on vocals. Well, duh, she's been announced as the new co-vocalist alongside Mike Shinoda as Linkin Park. She is officially part of the band. You don't need to say featuring Emily Armstrong on vocals. I swear these people just have to just cram it down your throat that it's like, they got a new female lead singer. You have to love everything that they do now. It's like, the album was bad. It was really bad. I gave it a listen. It was 31 minutes of my life I will never get back. It was not good. And sets by Incubus, who, they're another sad story. I really loved Incubus in the late 90s. And then, I don't know what happened. I Prevail and Trivium, Bullet for My Valentine, Jimmy Eat World, Under Oath, and a reunited Crossfade are featured for that date. Wrapping up the festival on Sunday, May 11th, will be the headliners Metallica once again, who will perform a completely different set from the night before. Other feature performers include Alice in Chains. Okay. Art. Okay. Somebody correct me in the chat if you know the difference here. I don't know. Is it Arch Enemy or Arc Enemy? I don't know. I'm usually pretty good with grammar, but ARCH, is that Arch or Arc? Arc Enemy, Guar, and a reunited Power Trip. Well, how about that? So there we go. Tried to end it on somewhat of a high note after really getting way too weird about all the Emily Armstrong stuff. Okay, yeah, that was a stupid question. That doesn't help me. Okay, that's better. That helps. So other than Lady Marine, hopefully everyone else likes the stream and subscribes. She is my, I guess now twice a week downvote and unsub. But yeah, I think we'll go ahead and end it here. I've reached my hour mark. It's time for me to go figure out what I'm doing for dinner and for the rest of the evening. But thank you guys all so very much for hanging out with me on this Wednesday, where I just sit here and ramble on about anything and everything. And yeah, I don't know. We will be back. I will be back with my panel. Hopefully they'll all be here. I don't know, but we are definitely gonna have to have an intervention for Roman. However, I think we're gonna revisit this before I sign off. Quick revisit. So Roman, once again, if you weren't here earlier, posted just the records he has bought, and records as in like vinyl, like records, just this year in 2024. And I can't even begin to read them all off because I'm going cross-eyed looking at the list. This is probably more than all the records I own after collecting for more than 10 years. But, you know, eventually you're going to have to sell one of your kids or your dog to be able to keep buying records, or just to have a place to put them. So there's the shelf. There it all is. And this will likely be our topic for Monday's Late to the Party news. I said what I said. I meant what I said. Anyways, let's see. Thank you, Devin, for tuning in while you were at Walmart buying some groceries. First time in the chat here, Pigeon Ralph. Thanks for being here. I'll definitely have to check out your channel and that glow in the dark art piece you're talking about with the Alice in Chains record. Bizarro Dad, Roman of the Empire, Jacob Ironside, Lady Marine, the real Steven TV. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out. I hope you guys, and yeah, I'll go message me the names again because I'm not gonna remember after I click end stream. But again, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever time zone you're in. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you on Monday for Late to the Party news. Cheers.